this week. We haven't officially kicked off the road shows. That'll be after July 4th. But out here traveling in Oklahoma City today, I had to do a makeshift studio. AJ, you like my makeshift fake background? I look like one of those one of those TikTok trolley people that smarts off and has a green screen. You know what I mean? They're always making fun of other people, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so here we are, Oklahoma City. I've never been, in all the trips I've made out west, I've never been through Oklahoma. For some reason, it was like I was avoiding Oklahoma, like they had COVID or something. I was social distancing. I didn't mean to, but I would always go north of Oklahoma or south of Oklahoma, but this time straight across. And it's a lot greener than I thought. Have you ever been to Oklahoma, AJ?
I have been through. I have been through Oklahoma. Going up towards St. Louis, you got to cut through Oklahoma, and
Yep.
it is very like flat and green.
It's getting that way. Yeah, I got over the hills and all this, but it's a lot greener. I don't know why I pictured Tulsa being a little bit different, but you got to play some old Oklahoma tunes like Tulsa Time, and I'm trying to think of some other Oklahoma. Okie from Muskogee.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some old country songs, but there's some Oklahoma songs, man.
Now, I think it's the Will Rogers Turnpike. There's the McDonald's that goes across the highway. I think it's like the largest McDonald's, or it was
Yeah, I've
at
heard
one
about
point.
that. Yeah.
And I don't think you're too far from there, but it's at the Will Rogers Turnpike. I don't know which way you're going, but if you do,
Straight west, son.
Yeah.
Straight west. Riding off into the sunset. But AJ and I both, it's a miracle that the show's even on today, consider both of us and our travel issues
Yes.
that we've had. I didn't have any travel issues. I just had tech issues getting to this particular. When I'm doing these out west shows, I don't even know what kind of signal strength or any of that I'm going to have till I get there. So every show's just a crapshoot. And today was a hard drive this morning, and it took a minute to get set up. And then AJ, his flight got canceled yesterday?
Yes, so
and you didn't even know if you'd be home today.
Man, look, I got here by the skin of my teeth. So yeah, I was supposed to be here yesterday, right? And then all of a sudden, I get the message saying, "Oh, your flight has been delayed." So I'm like, "Okay, it's gonna be delayed." And then one flight gets delayed, which then causes the other flight to get delayed. And then there was a time where, like, if I would have got the flight, then the connecting flight, I would have missed it. So then I would have to stay overnight in Atlanta, which I've done it before. Don't ever want to have to do that.
That's the worst.
Not at the airport.
Nope.
So then finally, it was like about 7 o'clock last night, and then I got delayed again. I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me just get up in the morning and just rebook my flight, do it for the morning, pray that I can make it here on time. And when I tell you, it still got delayed because it was raining in Baton Rouge. It was raining, and there was a United flight that got delayed. But we left on time. We left on time, got to Atlanta, and barely made it to my connecting flight because they were already boarding. Had to go change from Concourse D to go to C, and then run down to 43. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I did a lot of running just to make my flight, get on the flight, and then land. And I'm sitting there next to somebody who works for he works for the airlines. He was getting transported to Birmingham. It was just like his days off. Well, come to find out, like, they had like one traffic controller yesterday, in which caused a whole bunch of craziness, and then with the rain, it caused a whole bunch of a disarray. So now they're playing catch up. So we get to land in Birmingham. We're sitting on the tarmac for like 20 minutes because the planes from yesterday were still at the gate. And
Still backed up.
It was back. I was like, oh God. Oh man, I was so happy that I made it. And then the guy, he was like, man, look, if it was Southwest or Spirit, they didn't care if it was storming outside. They will still fly. You just be bouncing.
Oh yeah, they'll just run you straight through it. Yeah. I got lucky on all my flights. The one I did Friday, I had to make this event for my son Friday night, and I had maybe a 3-hour window of problems, but I didn't have any. Got straight there, and I made the event. It was a nice time, but just a gruel trying to get back here. What was weird is I was trying to switch my flight from going in through Atlanta to coming straight back to Birmingham, and it's funny how they had, at first they didn't know if they had seats, but it's like they wanted me to cancel a ticket and buy a new ticket. I was like, I'm not asking to do that. I'm saying you got 2 planes. I've already paid you. Who cares which one I get on? But it's just not. It's not that logical when it comes to airline flight. But man, a busy weekend of travel. Speaking of that, let me switch to the election. And I know AJ's still doing some setup stuff back there. Speaking of the election, I've had an issue. I may not be able to vote in this election, me nor my wife. And let me just explain why. I mean, I voted, but I'm not sure my vote's going to count. And if it comes down, if one of these races comes down to 1 vote, let me just say, I'm going to be raising hell. Here's what happened, and I'm not blaming the election officials in Shelby County. I vote in Shelby County, and I was going to call in. And by the way, thank you to Jeff Poore and everybody for filling in for us on Friday. I heard it was a great show, and he's always so smart and capable, and I'm just honored that he would fill in like that and gave me a chance to go be at the event. But I almost called into my own show to tell Jeff about this situation, but I was just slammed trying to make it, getting through New York City traffic to where I needed to be. But so here's kind of how the whole deal went down. We applied for absentee ballots, and some of you may have faced this, and I'm just giving you a heads up because tomorrow's the election, because I knew I was going to be traveling this week. And so we applied well ahead of the deadline, and we just never got a ballot. We never got a ballot. And then it was getting close to travel time where I not only had this trip, but the 2 days prior traveling back and forth to New York. So I knew I had to get the ballot in so I could put a signature on it, by last week, but we still didn't have our ballots. So we called, and I had already taken off for New York, hoping that they would just come in over the weekend. And I knew they had to be postmarked by tomorrow. And my wife reaches out to them, and the lady, she goes, "Oh, we sent those out a week or 2 ago." And I know we didn't get them because we go through all the mail pretty meticulously. And then she said the magic phrase, and this is what set off my alarm bell. She goes, "We're hearing a lot of complaints that people didn't get their ballots." And the only choice was for Jessica to drive to Columbiana and physically pick them up, which she so kindly did for me and her, so that we'd at least have them at home in order to turn them around and get them back in the mail. Then we get them, she gets them back in, and then the post office says she takes them, what was it, this morning? My days are all mixed up. Yesterday. And they're not sure they'll even make it by Tuesday to send them back. I mean, 15 minutes away, we just couldn't physically drive them back over there. Now, some of that's on us. I mean, because, we could have just probably gone in person and would have saved. I think what it points out is the fallacy that vote by mail is anything functional, because the big weakness in the whole system, the weak link, is the Postal Service. Now, my best friend's dad was a postmaster. I respect all those folks. I love my post people. They do a good job. But the system itself is just dysfunctional nowadays. They're going broke again. And this is too critical a thing to trust to mail in states where they mostly do it by mail, like California. It creates a system where ballots how would you know if your ballot went missing after you sent it back? How do you even know it got counted? I'm not sure. Maybe some states send you some kind of receipt that it was sent back. But ours didn't even get to us. Now, I'm not saying anybody did anything on purpose. I think it was just general bureaucracy and the lethargy of the post office. But when she told us it wasn't just us, there were other people that had that problem. People just need to know it. If you requested a ballot and you didn't get it in the mail and it's late, it just may not ever get to you. And if you did so and you can still go and vote in person, and your ballot, you haven't already filled the ballot out, I would go vote in person if you can still do it. Now, the whole point of absentee is so you got to have the reasoning that you're infirm or in the military, you're going to be traveling and out of state on the day of the election, which is clearly my case. I've only had to do absentee voting one other time in my life, and I was able to go to the courthouse and do it. And maybe I just shouldn't have trusted the mail system. I thought, why not give it a shot? We're busy, and it got dysfunctional. So just letting you know, we'll see what happens next. But tomorrow, of course, Election Day, I'm getting spammed to death by these candidates. I understand outreach, but it's so much overkill that it's ridiculous. And I'd like to say I'm going to vote against the next candidate to send me a text, but they're all doing it. Every single one of them are doing it. So maybe my absentee ballot shouldn't count. Maybe just they can all kiss my butt. I mean, it's so intrusive. We already can't answer our phones. It's because of the crowded space that all that stuff is in. We can't answer our phones nowadays from constant spam, phone calls, text messages. If you buy something immediately, I'll buy something. I had one particular product I bought for my sons for Father's Day. It didn't come in on time. I know I'm just AJ, am I total Karen today? I'm just bitching up a storm. But no, not only that, they haven't delivered my product, but they've sent me 5 upsells to try to get me to buy more stuff from them. And it's just so programmatic that it's ridiculous. And now all these candidates are in on that kind of marketing, and it's so obnoxious. But I wish they'd stop. I don't give a flip who's endorsed you today. Tomorrow's the election. Let's get it on. By the way, it'll be a super small turnout election. Probably half. I think, what did we get? 19% in the original primary. And with summer being here and everything going on, people traveling like AJ's done and I've done this week, a lot of people just aren't going to vote. Plus, these candidates, in large part, most of these races have been uninspiring. The biggest heat, I guess, of late has been on the Senate race. We may deal or may not deal with some of that here in just a little bit. I know the candidates are all still out there doing their last-minute stumping. Now, it's a huge week in the news internationally with this deal. And I'm skeptical, and I'm going to go into that in more length in the next segment because I've just got too much to say about it. We need to kind of set the table and get going. But, you know, Trump's got a deal. Apparently, J.D. Vance is going to physically sign it in Geneva on, I think it's Friday. And Trump's not going to hang around for that. He's overdoing this G7 stuff today. Pretty dramatic optics, too. Europe is just having to fall in line at this point. And, you know, the deal points that are out there, you can't really trust what's out there because some of it is correct, some of it is not correct. And it doesn't look like, I mean, Iran still gets to keep their regime intact. And that's my biggest problem with it is that the only thing that's ever going to bring complete peace in that region, in my opinion, is regime change in that country. And maybe this is an open door for that for the people to get their country back. But this regime has so far survived the bombing and holding the world hostage with the Strait. Now, the good news, rather than look at the complete negative side of it, the good news is oil is not crashing, but taking a serious dip. As of this hour, the West Texas index is still right at $80. And if you remember the math on this, the Iranians wanted to drive oil into a range of about $120 or $30 up to $150 so the world goes into a panic. They were never able to really do that. And now that the deal has been signed, it's been in decline. That's going to mean lower gas prices. Now, when all this happened, when the war started with Iran, I think we had gotten the barrel price down to about $68. And while people want to be critical of the Trump administration for the Iran conflict and the price going up, this administration was the reason it was going down in the first damn place, because it was already at about that same level that we're at now during and higher during the Biden years, because it was a different scenario. They were attacking the energy sector, just attacking it, trying to make it difficult for us to buy gas, so we'd buy their little cars that run on mouse farts and dreams. And all that's dead now. AI's killed all that. Trump's administration now is taking a U-turn, and everybody wants gas, right? So I'm watching the prices. They are a little bit lower the further you go west. You're just closer to the supply chain, at least out here in Oklahoma City. But yeah, we'll see summer driving prices. If all this stays intact and nothing derails it, we should be back down in the 70s in short order. And then it'll take a while for that price to work through the system, because that's not the price the oil companies are paying today. What you're pumping for gas, they paid for weeks ago at the barrel price, and that's got to work its way into the system. Again, these are futures numbers, which means they're just buying contracts for delivery at a later date. And when that cheaper oil starts coming in and working through the refineries all the way to your house and to your car, we'll start seeing those prices. But all that is good news. Stock market, another huge rally today, continues to set records. Freaks me out a little bit. It's on a bubble before the close today. We're at 604. So we'll see how that shakes out by the end of the day. Your phone calls, too. There's a lot of headlines, crazy stuff all weekend. so much in the news, including, and I got to get your take on this, AJ. The damn Brazilians threw a woman off a bridge. It's one of the most horrifying videos I've seen in a long time of this. I think that was one of my biggest fears as far as the way to die would be falling like that. We'll talk about that on the other side. By now, you've probably seen that video and plenty of other things in the news to get to as well. Lanius Furniture Company bringing you the show tonight. Launius, LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. Man, that's John and Reggie and that whole team up there. Let them help you. Let them take care of you. They can really get that done for you. No matter what you're looking for your home, whether it's just odds and ends, sometimes it's fun just to go browse shop, and then you may run across something that you just fall in love with because they've got such a store full of that stuff. It's the best quality anywhere in the Southeast, probably one of the biggest stores in the whole Southeast in terms of just its size. You got the most helpful people, a brand name that's 92 years old, and just great prices and deals on everything. Especially lately, they've got a huge group of sectional furniture, and it is just good looking. And it looks comfortable. When Reggie sent me those pictures, I was like, first thing I thought, maybe it's my age, I thought, I could take a nap on that thing. Y'all go check out the new sectional stuff that just hit the ground at great prices at Lanius Furniture Company, Launius, LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. All right, we could keep talking about the serious stuff, but I got to talk about the situation in Brazil. Let me just go ahead and throw it down. Have you seen this video, AJ? I mean, have you seen them throw this woman off a bridge? I don't know if AJ can even hear
I
me
did
right now.
not see that video.
Dude. Okay, you know how people like to do thrill things on vacation or whatever, and they'll bungee
Oh,
jump?
you talking about the bungee jump thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I
Yes.
saw that.
I thought it was fake.
I thought it was AI.
I
I was
did
like,
too.
this can't be real.
I saw it again, and then I saw it again, and then I saw another angle on it.
Yeah.
And these idiots, by the way, the moral to the story is don't go to the third world and do a stunt. They picked her up over their heads. If you haven't seen the video, it's this bridge jump thing. It's 130 feet. The way they launch people is they lift them up over their heads. They're kind of flat, like Superman pose, and they throw them like a paper airplane over the side of this little ramp, and then they fall, and the bungee catches them, and they bounce, and then I don't know how they retrieve them. But I accidentally clicked on the one where it showed her all the way to the ground, and she plunked into the ground. This little 20-year-old cute little kid just trying to do the stupid stuff that 20-year-olds do. And AJ, they didn't attach the rope, man. They just threw her off, and she went all the way to the ground.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh gosh, that was just so heartbreaking because it was a real video, and it was being shared around so much that you had to kind of be kind of careful. Like, is this real or not? Or this is AI. But when you found out this 21-year-old woman was just thrown like that, and then how do you not secure? How do you not double check before you do something like that?
And I'm not even look. I'm not trying not to blame the victim, but come on now. If I'm doing this, which I would never do, by the way, I'm gonna ask 37 questions about this rope. AJ, I'm gonna go. How long have you had this rope?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you buy this rope?
Right.
Is this rope rated for my fat ass?
That's what I'm saying. What's the weight requirement?
Where did you learn to tie knots? Let me recheck that knot. I'm going to look at that rope till I go over that bridge. And she didn't even notice that she wasn't tethered. Maybe she was just, excited. And they just launched her. And the poor thing, I thought about it when I saw the second video. When did it occur to her that she was not attached? Because usually you fall for a long way before that thing catches you. But at some point on the way down, she had to realize she was dying. And that is just, I think that is just the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Now, they've arrested the two guys that were involved, but who was running this operation? Was it a company, or is it just two guys throwing tourists off bridges? I don't know. But
it makes me think about, you see like the bungee jumping or the zip lining, or even like the little roller coaster thing you see down at the beach where it just like shoots you up in the air like a rubber band. Like, there are times I'm like, oh, I really want to do it, but then I see videos like this, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather just stay here and look up there and say, oh, let me take a picture of you coming down. Nah.
I've seen people parasailing. I'm like, all right, good for them. I mean, my sister is a thrill seeker, and she used to always do that stuff on vacation. I'm like, nah, dude, I don't know these people. I mean, I've even go to carnivals, man, and get on a little rusty ass ride with, the carnival they put in a parking lot somewhere, and then they move around. And these carnies look like they just got off the crack pipe. And like, this guy's got like East Coast, West Coast eyes.
And I'm supposed to trust him with my life.
And you're gonna get on that swingy, swirly Vomitron thing and let it throw you around. And they just put this up yesterday with that guy. That guy right there put this up. I'm a little more secured than that. I'm not doing it.
And look, they don't even check the harness to make sure it's securely attached. It's just
dude.
Yeah, no.
That was sad. All right, bottom of the hour. Let's do this bottom of the hour break. We'll come back and regroup. Your phone calls too, 545-9950. Man, we got headlines all over the place too. Still plenty of things from the weekend to go back over. 545-9950. Leland Live. Y'all stay tuned. Man, Birmingham Broker bringing you the show tonight. BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com. Boy, that's where you can go get your car sold and sold right. They're going to sell it for more than you will. I'm just telling you, they will. Some of y'all are pretty sophisticated hagglers, and I guess if you want to chase the ever elusive value of a car nowadays, go ahead, be my guest. I'm not one of those. I just assume one of the reasons we traded in is for the ease of just getting rid of the thing. Because we fall out of love with the old one pretty quick as soon as you see the new one. We get car fever, and it's just an American thing, I guess. Well, it's true worldwide, but y'all, take your ride down to Birmingham Broker. They're going to get you full retail and not wholesale, and they're going to do all the work. And I don't know how much easier I can explain it. Not only is it just stress-free, but mathematically, it's the way to go. It's BHAMBroker.com. BHAMBroker.com. They're downtown Birmingham, 4th Avenue South. Y'all go see Craig and Keith. Check out those motorcycles, the electric motorcycles at their next door business they've created called BB Electric Moto. Really cool stuff. Maybe a good Christmas idea too as we turn the corner toward that part of the year. Before you know it, you'll be making those decisions. And you'll love just getting to see and to know the folks down at BHAM Broker. All right, again, BHAMBroker.com is the website. Let's talk about this whole situation with Tommy Tuberville. Apparently, last night the party chairman put a statement out saying, he will be on the ballot. And it really I've got a couple of concerns here. First, they're correct. Tuberville has got plenty of ways to establish residency. People know where he's been. I mean, we know why he was in Alabama in the first place. It's not like he just moved here from New York. And but people want to make technical arguments, and they will. They did. This Ken McFeeters was the committee that decides these things was unanimous, and Tuberville will be on the ballot. Now, this was a party. Just understand where we are right now. This was a party decision. This was not a legal decision based on the state laws. So I'm trying to unwind this for everybody. So the party's got to decide who it thinks is an eligible nominee, go through their nominating process, and in our case in Alabama, it's an election. Some states could do a convention to decide who their nominees are, but the real election is in November. And so that would be, of course, we know Doug Jones is the candidate for the Democrats. And so I will almost guarantee you the Democrats are going to bring this back up in a courtroom somewhere as soon as the Republican primary is decided in full. In other words, the party just says, we believe our candidate is eligible based on an intra-party challenge, based on party bylaws. And they've got the authority to decide who their nominees are. So McFeeters, running as a Republican, challenged Tuberville as a Republican, and so now we head off to the general election. But Dougie Stale, that's going to not. AJ, is that going to be funny to people? Most people don't know who Dougie Fresh was.
No.
Dougie Fresh? Remember Dougie Fresh?
Mm-hmm. I know Dougie Fresh.
See, Doug Flukie wasn't sticking as well either. That's an old 80s reference. But Dougie Stale occurred to me this morning. I thought, I may start calling him Dougie Stale. But so here we go into the fall. And I'll guarantee you, because you listen to some of the booger eaters that support them online and all the challenges, they'll bring it back up as another technical challenge, the spirit of the law. We all understand where Tuberville's lived in Auburn for years. He owns other houses. He travels. He was retired for a while. But, I think there'll be a court challenge just to keep things tied up. Here's why. It's easy to do when you're the candidate of just all the trial lawyers for the most part. Secondly, all you got to do is judge shop. It's the Democrats' new favorite MO. They don't trust elections anymore anyway. They don't even want to do elections. They want to handpick their votes, mail in their ballots, vote for 2 months. That whole party is just thrown in the towel on just fair competition. And the other way they try to win nowadays when they're defeated is just get a favorable judge to give them a lower court ruling and ride that as long as you can, knowing that it's likely to get overturned. Now, I'm not saying I have any inside knowledge, but I'll almost promise you there'll be a forthcoming challenge on legal grounds to Tuberville's eligibility on the ballot, because the Democrat Doug Jones is a smart guy, and he knows where his ceiling is in the state of Alabama in his party, unless there's an anomaly, which there was during the Roy Moore race. Roy Moore was not the best candidate anyway, and then he got sandbagged by all those national reports, and that led to a lot of people just staying home. A lot of Republicans just gave up. They were able to allow the Republicans to demoralize themselves in that race. And I've gone through that analysis over and over again. So when a party is at 38% in Alabama, which I think the Democrats still are, I've told the Clayton side of the story a million times, where this guy who had to pawn his truck to come up with the qualifying fees to be the Democrat challenger to Richard Shelby, I think this was 98, got arrested for peeing outside a Taco Bell down in Montgomery. Nobody had ever heard his name, but he was the only name on the ballot. He was the only Democrat that would step up and put his name on the ballot against Shelby, and he still got 38% of the vote. I never forgot that. And that was back before Republicans got even more critical mass in the state. The Democrats enjoy, on a good year, when they get their people fired up, they get a good turnout, they can pull 40% of the vote. Now, when you only have really 10%, it's double digits, but when you can somehow find a way to make up 10%, there are ways to do that. I'm telling y'all, don't count the Doug Jones team out. They know that they're running uphill, and this guy's attached to a party that appears to have absolutely lost its mind on the national stage. They've embraced an extremism that's hard to even describe with the various candidates and fraud. In fact, they've got a candidate. I heard about this morning. They've got a candidate running in Utah. You can't write this. This is last week they were putting up a Nazi in Maine. And this week, they've got a candidate running for a House seat in Utah who is Somali in Utah. And most of his campaign contributions have come from a kindergarten in Minnesota. Now, does that tie it all together for you or not? Here, it's got everything. That story's got everything. Probably fraudulent campaign contributions, number one. It's got illegal immigration. I assume the guy came here illegally. He's here now. It's got the Somali fraud rings out of Minnesota that connected directly to this guy and all of his support. Somehow the kindergartens in Minnesota have an interest in a House seat in Utah. That's going to make their lives better. Then when he gets elected, they'll all sit down and try to spell learning for their learning center. I don't know. I blew a snot bubble listening to that story be described today. But yeah, just raw old Alabama politics. This governor's race is not as dead, I don't think, as it seems. And Tuberville's going to have to put up a fight and deal with this again, I would suppose, as we head toward the summertime. So anyway, but that was something that took place this weekend. Just had to run through that story as well. Not much else to say today about the various runoff races tomorrow. I was thinking about it this morning. I think the veteran issue has played to the point where if you support Barry Moore at this point, you wrap yourself in guard service, and any service whatsoever is honorable, which I don't disagree with. If you are on the Jared Hudson side of things, you have a guy who you have an elected member of Congress who for years has portrayed himself as a staff sergeant when really he just did boot camp. He did basic training, ROTC stuff. But some people do that. Some people go in and do minimal service, and if you're not asked to deploy, you don't deploy yourself. So that debate has gone back and forth, and I've heard all the people come out about it. But I'll tell you, it has gotten traction, and I believe the Barry Moore team's made a lot of mistakes, and you can see how panicky they are about it by continually bringing it up themselves. Y'all know about the thing called the Barbara Streisand effect, is when she tried to get a negative story killed about her, and it just gave the story more volume, and then that situation got named after Barbara Streisand. The more protested, and I'm just evaluating the PR value of the whole fight that we've seen in the last few weeks, the more he threatened television stations, threatened social media accounts, filed FCC complaints, threatened lawsuits, the more he looked defensive and whiny about it, and a little bit sus. But I believe that story's played. I'm not sure. Whatever damage it did, it's done. Today before the election, people have dug in on whatever side they want to believe. And it's largely because there's a lot of subjectivity to the way these stories are being described. And from the minute I've been trying to, when I was approached with the story in the beginning, or the not really, I don't know if you'd call it a story, with the fact pattern, let's put it that way, I was trying to understand the accusation. And was the accusation that he said he was a veteran and he's not? Some people say that's clear enough. Well, then that gets into a lot of technical qualifications over what a veteran is. The bigger issue for him, which I think he's managed to obfuscate Barry Moore, is signing a letter to Tim Walz, no doubt, about the same subject as a staff sergeant when he clearly was not. And I asked a question, nobody's been able to answer this for me. Did they give him some kind of congressional bump to staff sergeant post-career? Because sometimes that happens. These people get congressional favors. I don't know. I'm not accusing him of that, but I wonder why would his team just do that? The Daily Mail ran another piece on it this weekend. Meantime, Jared Hudson's team has sent out at least 37 press releases since this weekend. Every time I check my mail, I've got 4 or 5 news releases. Those guys are out there running around being active. I have no idea. I've not seen any reliable polling of late. Every poll I've seen in the last week and a half has had, I'm not saying they're biased, but the sponsorship of the poll gives the poll a slant, and it's too easy to do that. I mean, it's in the sample size, it's in the questioning. All of these things are subject to a lot of objectivity. So tomorrow we vote. We'll be talking about it. Tomorrow will be kind of a dead subject unless any kind of shenanigans happen at the polls themselves. And I've already described my problem with the mail-in ballot system. But, yeah, we'll be talking lots about this on Wednesday. Either way, there's some pretty good people running across that whole ticket, and we'll just all get out to the polls and do our thing. How about that? Now, just see this coming across. We'll be dealing with breaking news today, too, as usual. But a very large B-52 Stratofortress plane belonging to the Air Force out at Edwards in California has now crashed. And that may be one of the biggest, blackest fireballs I've ever seen. Those planes are massive. I've seen them up close a few times, seen them come and go from some military stuff. And I just can't imagine if that thing, we don't know any other details about whether the plane was taking off or landing. If it was, that looks like it was just full of fuel. It looks like a bomb going off. I'm looking at a still shot, not a video, and it's hard to believe anybody on board would have survived that incident. Then we had the incident too this weekend in Missouri of a skydiving plane. This is not quite as shocking as throwing a woman off a bridge with no bungee cord, because we've had skydiving accidents in the past. But apparently there were 11 people on board going to skydive, and some, I suppose, a pilot, maybe some crew that were helping them with the skydive flight. Their families down on the ground. I've done this before. I've watched people jump, friends jump, and I just stayed on the ground. And, you know, they're standing there watching their relatives or their friends and loved ones up there about to do the skydive, and the dang plane just crashed. Got to about 1,300 feet. All 12 people aboard died. That's another terrible, terrible tragedy in the world of, I guess, stunt tourism. I don't know what you call that stuff. We've got some really good skydive schools around Alabama, and if done right, it can be safe enough. Still, like AJ and I talked about earlier, not safe enough for me. AJ, would you ever skydive? I see no reason whatsoever to do that.
Only if I have to.
I do not criticize people who do. Y'all have fun. I'm just too old for that mess. I don't need thrills. All right.
Look, my thrill is now being able to walk up the stairs and not feeling like, oh my gosh,
yes,
my knee hurt or my back hurt. Wake up stretching without pulling the muscle. Those are the things I get excited about.
Mine is just taking a nice fart without having to worry about it. Just like, oh, that was all right. That one,
you got to think about it.
No surprises there. You ever do that? You're just like, what the hell just happened? Oh, I'm good. True story. Kenneth is up next on a cell phone. What's up, Kenneth?
Hey, Leland, you can't trust a fart anymore.
No, not anymore. Not at all.
So when you go up the stairs, is it you popping or the stairs popping?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all right. So if the Democrat was under a ROTC contract, then he was being paid as a staff sergeant. He was not a staff sergeant.
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. There was just a lot of this ambiguity about pay grade versus actual work and earning ranks. And look, again, I've said this
Right.
over and over to sort of qualify this whole controversy. I didn't do either one, so I'm not going to be too critical of anybody that's willing to do that stuff. But the veteran community really gets pissed off about these things, and that's where a lot of the heat has come from. On all sides, you got some veterans that are defending Barry Moore and others that just find him incredulous.
Right. Yeah, I don't agree with the way they do the contracts anyway because of this reason, because he might be an E4 specialist, and some of them get paid as an E5 or E6, but they never do the work of an NCO. So I don't agree with him getting paid that anyway.
Yeah. You know what I compare it to?
But
I compare it to like if I don't cook, I can't cook. I'm no good at cooking. I don't have a good experience at it. But if I go pick up a meal, like a frozen meal, and nuke it in the microwave for the family and then say, hey, I cooked dinner, it's like you really didn't cook dinner, but you did something. So, I mean, it's just it's one of those kind of things.
Well, one question is, if he was under an ROTC contract, did he not become an officer?
Apparently he did his boot camp. He did some drills, was cut loose early, and that was about it.
Well, then there's a reason why he didn't become an officer then.
I guess. I mean, there's some qualifications you got to go through to achieve that readiness rank. And I'm not claiming to be an expert on it, but people have inundated me with stories about this since it all came out. And by now, I think it's dead by now. You either believe what you believe. And again, we go vote tomorrow. So
I've been in 39 years. I'm still in. So,
well, you know the deal then.
That's right.
All right, Kenneth, don't trust a fart, my friend. Do not trust it.
Never
Don't
do
it. Here's E on line 1. What's up, E?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Yo, man, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Speaking of farts, man, I'm 40 years old, and I remember my cousins and I when we would stay over at my grandparents' house.
Yep.
And Grandpa had 7 steps going into the front of their house. And he would always, this man could fart every step of the way going up, and he would blame it on his knees.
He's a legend.
Just my knees. And then if he's coming down, if he let a big one out, he's like, oh, that's my hip. And us cousins, we used to laugh, and Grandma would used to get on him, and he's like, no, it's the stairs. I swear it's the stairs. And till this day, we talk about it. And, we're 40, 45 years old, but that was one of the funniest things that we remember about my grandfather.
I love that story because I'm a grandfather now. I tried that on my 7-month-old, and he was pulling on my finger, and I was going to make the joke, and then he did it. So me and my son just had a good laugh at that.
Reversed on you, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. I was like, well, quit pulling my finger, son. He loaded up a diaper, and it's good times this weekend. Hey, E, good to hear from you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all, storm restoration roofing. Let's talk. Here come the rains again. They sort of held off. Most of it went south, but we're still in for several inches of rain this week all around Birmingham. It's not just storms. Of course, the company's called Storm Restoration, and storms do damage, hail, wind, all those things. But just the constant rain and wind and sun and heat and cold and expansion and contraction roofs have a lifespan. And over time, you're going to have to replace yours if you keep your house long enough. So if you need a roofer, it's just not even close. Greg Nelson is a veteran of the industry, almost 30 years in the business. I love that his whole family's working in the business for the most part. He's got 10 kids. They're all grownish, and they're up there on the roofs. His daughters are helping with adjustments. He's got an integrated business, and that's somebody that's going to do the job right. He knows he's going to be around town for you to talk bad about him if he doesn't, because he's your neighbor. They're based out of Pell City, but Greg has worked with all the insurance companies around Birmingham and this part of Alabama, and he knows what they require. He knows how to submit a proper, what you've got to document. By the way, before you call insurance, call him, because you don't want to go into this thing not prepared, because the insurance company doesn't, I mean, if they have a reason not to have to honor that claim, that's business. But if you can sincerely document exactly what the damage is, where it is, and why it happened, then you got a better shot at getting your claim approved. And the insurance companies like competence on the other side too. They're the ones writing the check. So whether it's a full project or you're just having a repair done, Storm Restoration Roofing, y'all reach out to Greg. I give you this number all the time and ask you to stick it to the side, because you never know if you're going to need it. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, we're up. Man, we've got one other home services company that's just incredible. They're pretty new to the show. Floor Tech's only been on here a few weeks, and it's got me noticing these floors now. And let me just give you the backstory. About 20-something years ago, a couple houses back, I did one of these, coating your garage floor and putting the paint flake in it and sealing it off just to make it look better. And I also thought about them this weekend. I had a little hand pump that had some hydraulic fluid. Was in my barn getting ready to leave on this trip, and it just, like, it exploded and just leaked everywhere. And then I'm cleaning it up. Now I'm going to have a permanent hydraulic stain in that little part of the concrete. Sort of pissed me off, but that's what happens with concrete. It's porous. You spill anything like that on it, it's just going to look bad. So that's why people want to coat their concrete floors in their garages, barns, retail spaces. The problem is the products over the years have just been terrible. They peel very soon, if you especially got a lot of car traffic on it, and they all fade. And so Kevin at FloorTech and his company literally went into the lab to determine why are these products so bad, and it was just the ingredients. A lot of the companies, all of the companies, put solvents into the material. So listen, it's FloorTech, TEK. Reach out to them. Their product's better. Lifetime warranty on the product. Lifetime warranty, and it travels with the home. They believe in what they do. This is the product that works. It's not going to peel. It's not going to yellow. They can explain why at FloorTechCoatings.com. TEK, FloorTechCoatings.com. Let them come talk to you. Back here in just a minute.